I'm going to do a quick video here showing you how to rename a ChatGPT chat so you can find it easier. And I'm going to show you a trick of how you can just create a project as well, drag it into it. A project can act as like a folder so you can find certain things. So it's important if you want to go back to a chat, which is often you may want to do because you want to continue a discussion on something or continue working on a project on something. It's important that you're able to find it. And ChatGPT kind of randomly names chats depending on the beginning of what the chat is. So it doesn't always name it the best thing. Sometimes it does a pretty good job at it, but other times it doesn't. And if you've talked about a couple of things in the chat and there's really one thing you're concerned with, you may want to rename it that. So I'm in a chat here and it's actually called Fade in Track. We could actually select any of these tracks, or we can go down and find an old chat that we were doing before and highlight it and go into the chat. And so I want to rename this. I'm going to go here to highlight it, and then there are these three dots and it says rename. And so I'm going to rename this. This is actually talking about Ableton. So I'm going to append it with Ableton at the beginning. I'm going to leave the name here and just put Ableton, which is the name of a program, Ableton Fade in Track, because that's what it's about. Now, if I want to organize this further, if I do a lot of stuff with Ableton, say, for example, or any other piece of software, I can create a project. So I'm going to go create a new project, and I'm going to call it Ableton. And Ableton could be anything. In this case, Ableton is a program that I use. So it's right up at the top of there. Now what we can do is we can go back down, and you see now, because we edited this, it moved back up to the top of the chat. We're going to go to these three lines down here again, and we can add it to a project. We can create a new project here, or we can select one, and I just made Ableton as one. So I'm going to click on Ableton, and it moved the chat into there, and we're actually under Ableton now. And if you look, it says Ableton Fade in Track. So if you're using a program like Ableton, for example, or Word, or whatever program you're using, or whatever category you have of things, you can move them into a folder. So if you're doing a business report for 2025, you could create a project Business Report 2025, and you could name the chats after that, and then transfer them into that if you have multiple chats within it as well. But by putting them into the project, a lot of times you can find it a little bit easier. And if you note down the name of the chat, or what you name the chat, or use a consistent naming convention, it makes it easier to find. Because what we can do is we can go up here to search chats, and now I'm going to type in Ableton, which is the name of the program, but I also, you'll remember, I named Ableton Fade in a Track is that file. And so that's the way you can rename files, or rename chats and find them quickly in ChatGPT.